What's up? It's something on my mind and I want to talk about it. So, it's a story, it's a true story. Happened in my life. So let's go back. Let's go back to the spring of 2004. One particular day in the spring of 2004. So, I'm going to paint the scenery. So, we at my mom's house. And it's me, my mama, my brother Ricky, my brother Dominique. I think my cousin T, I'm not sure, but I know for a fact my auntie Tanya. And if Tanya was there, then her baby Aaliyah was there. Aaliyah was maybe Aaliyah was there. If not, she was pregnant with Aaliyah. So, but Aaliyah was born in the summertime. So, and I said spring, so maybe not. So, T was there. So, this day, one day, my mama was feeling everything was a regular day, and then one day, This day, my mama just started throwing up. But not only was she throwing up, my mama was throwing up blood, and not just once or twice. She was throwing up blood like it wouldn't stop. I mean, it would stop for a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and then she would run back to the bathroom. She ended up having a bucket at one point, throwing up in the bucket. Kept throwing up blood, and we ain't thought nothing of it. She went to the hospital to figure out what's going on. Why am I throwing up blood? So she went. I'm 13 at the time. We weren't really thinking nothing of it. Days went by and life went on. A few months later, my mama went to the hospital and stayed in the hospital for like a month, 2 months. Came home, wasn't thinking nothing of it. She had my auntie Tanya holding down her house for her, with just my little brother Dominique and my younger brother Ricky. But Ricky was staying with my daddy, so he wasn't over there much. He wasn't exposed to as much as me and Dominique at the time. Dominique being 8, 9 years old. So she's throwing up. So she goes to the hospital. She came home. We ain't thinking nothing of it. Months passed. I think we went on into 2005 now. This 2004, so now we in 2005. And I noticed when I come home from school and get phone calls from my mama, I notice more and more often she getting phone calls from Memorial Health Cancer Unit. And I wasn't thinking nothing of it at first again. I just thought that the cancer unit shared the same line as the hospital. So, but one day, I guess I got tired of the cancer people coming. I needed some answers or something. So I asked my mama, I said, Mama, why do cancer people keep calling? She said, 'cause I got cancer. And shook her head and looked real sad. And I said, you got cancer. A lot of people don't make it from cancer. That's serious. She said, I know. I said, you okay? She said, I'm all right. Conversation ended. I went back to playing my Xbox. Months later, my mom went back into the hospital. This time she stayed in the hospital for months. Still not thinking nothing of it. It's my mama. She in the hospital. Everybody gets to stay in the hospital sometimes. People have surgery, the stuff go wrong, the doctors find something, you gotta have operations. My cousin Nietzsche went to the hospital, had to have an operation. My brother Rickett went to the hospital. Dominique I'm the only person that ain't never been in the hospital before to have an operation, except for one that I don't want to talk about right now. So, found out my mama had cancer. So, later on, we all at the hospital, and I found out my mama had to have a surgery on her brain. Not thinking nothing of it. Now, at this point, I've moved in with my daddy because my mom is... I ain't moved in with my daddy yet. Excuse the noise, that's a boat. You see where I'm at? I'm on Hudson Island. That's a ship. So, that's that noise you hear. So my mama go to have the surgery, and then I don't fully know what's going on. I just know she having the surgery on her brain. But everybody vibe in the hospital is like crying and praying and like worried and scared. All her brothers and sisters, it's their cousins. It's a lot of people here. More people than I ever saw for any more than when Ricky got his hernia removed, or when Dominique got his tonsils removed, or when Nitra got her scoliosis fixed. It was more people than it was different. It was different. But I'm kind of still ain't thinking nothing of it. I'm looking at it like a family reunion. Hey, everybody here, what's up? I'm damn near thinking they coming to see me. And my brothers, I ain't so loyal to my mom. I'm 13. 14 by the time I'm 14 when she had that surgery. So I go to talking to my daddy. He said, how your mama's surgery went? I guess it went good. Hold on, rewind. My mama go into surgery, and then the doctors came and talked to my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, and my auntie Blanca started crying like and thanking God. Thank you, God. Oh, thank you, God, and crying. It wasn't my first time seeing her cry. Blanca's a crier. I've seen her cry a few times. Most of the time being a death. I ain't never saw her cry for a reason other than a death. So that's common. But I ain't thinking of enough. So I go to my daddy. I go to my daddy's house for the weekend. And look at this. Look at that. I work in a warehouse, so I appreciate that. Look at that. So I go to my daddy's house for the weekend. He said, how your mama's surgery went? So it went good. I guess Blanca was crying a lot or whatever, but it went good. What she had surgery on? Her brain. She had a brain surgery, Desmond? Yeah. Why? She had a brain surgery. She had the house. Well, this is serious, boy. She had a surgery on her brain. What's going on? Said my mama got cancer. My mama and my daddy ain't been together since '94. They ain't been together since '94. So they said that's serious. She had a brain surgery and she got cancer. They could have found a tumor on her brain or something. Like, you don't know nothing else. I don't know. She had a brain surgery. She had the house. She had a brain surgery. She lived. It worked. She had the house. So my mama stayed in the hospital for about 6 months. After that, then the changes came. She got, if I was to say she was 100 and I'm 170, I believe my mom was bigger than me, but she was an inch shorter than me, if that make a difference. I'm probably bigger than my mom was, I'm not sure. But let's say if I'm 170, her being a woman, let's say she was, because she wasn't slim, let's say she was 180. Because she wasn't a 200 pounder. She was short with it, so let's say she was 180. My mama had lost every bit of, my mama had became $120, easy. How much weight that is, that's how much weight that is. My mama had to drop down to $120. Her face got unrecognizably bumpy, like a stock crunch. And her attitude was still the same though, somewhat. Her attitude was still the same. Her attitude was still the same. But then there was one time I noticed it wasn't the same. My mama started acting more and more like a toddler who you still have to teach. She wasn't driving like that no more. She was still driving, but not like that. I started to feel real bad for my mama. And I remember one time we was sitting in my room. She sat in my room with me, and we was watching The Temptations. And it was a part of The Temptations where they wasn't famous yet. They was having a talent show. And my mama looked at me. She said, "Why they like and she put her fists up. Why they like to each other? Like, why they hating on each other? And I said, Mama, I said, you losing it. You feel me? I said, you losing it. But I felt bad. I'm still kind of ain't thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking it's a phase that she gonna get over. But I said, because it's a competition. They take it serious. They trying to win. It's a competition. So, yeah, they hate each other. They enemies right now. They all trying to win the competition. And she was like, The Temptations. Never forget that movie. The Temptations. Then Mama had to stop working. We was living in a Section 8 house. We had moved out of the project. We were staying in Fraser Homes. And we moved out of the project. We were staying in an apartment on the east side. Then we moved to a house in West Savannah. My mama was from West Savannah, born in West Savannah. I'm born in West Savannah. Kind of raised up in Fraser Homes, raised up in West Savannah. I spent the first half of all the way to 5th grade in Fraser Homes, and from 5th grade to old enough, you feel me, in West Savannah. She had to stop working. Couldn't work no more. Obviously, this way before that Temptations thing. She had to stop working. And her cancer was getting worse, man. It was getting worse, but I thought it would get better. I ain't knew it was at a point of it ain't getting no better from here. I ain't know. So let's go back. My mama. No, I ain't going back. I'm keep going with it. So my mama went back to the hospital. My mama went back to the hospital. Now this time, I'm living with my daddy now. This time, we in her hospital room, and all her brothers and sisters is there. Me, Dominique, and Rickett is there. My daddy is there. My daddy married to another woman. They ain't been together since '94. My daddy got married in '97. So, and my mama don't know who nobody is. None of her brothers and sisters, none of her babies. She don't know who nobody is. I guess she just felt the love and trusted it or something. I don't know. But she ain't knew who nobody was. But they were asking her, who is this? I don't know. Who is this? I don't know. Then they went to my auntie Blanket. They say, you know who this is? They'll say, you know who this is? Now who is this? They'll say, you know who this is? That's how gone she was. They went to my auntie Blanket and said, you know who this is? My auntie Blanket had an open face gold tooth. One open face gold tooth. She smiled. Mama said, you know who this is? She said, yeah, pretty smile. And then Blanket smiled. And then she went to Dominique. She didn't know who Dominique was. You know who this is? She didn't know who Rickett was. Say, you know who this is? To me. And she said, my baby. And my auntie Kathy said, give her a hug. And I gave my mama a hug. I gave my mama a hug, boy. I gave my mama a hug. Then they went to my daddy and said, you know who this is? To be honest, you feel what I'm saying? Some people in the room was like, she ain't gonna know who he is. My mama said, my husband. To my daddy. She said, my husband. But they ain't been together since '94. That just let me know that in her heart, she probably thought that they should have got married. But my mama got bad advice back in the days or whatever that stopped her, from marrying pops or whatever. But, life happens the way it happens for a reason. If my daddy ain't married who he married, I probably wouldn't know my wife today. Long story. Long it is. That's how life works out. Because I know my wife. I have my wife because of the woman my daddy married. I'm not gonna get into it. Maybe on another video. But life works out how it works out. Then my auntie came to me. Before this happened, this what made that hug so hard. When we was in the hospital, when my auntie called me to the side and said, they was like, well, you need to tell, my aunties and uncles was together, I think just the aunties. And they was like, well, you need to tell him because he the oldest. So I'm like, okay, what y'all got to tell me? They say, my auntie Blanca came to me. Blanca played a big part. My auntie Blanca came to me. She said, Desmond, you know your mama sick? I said, yeah. You know your mama got cancer? I said, yeah. Okay, do you know her cancer is terminal? I said, no, I didn't know that. Okay, you know what terminal means? Means she gonna die? She shook her head, yeah. That's what made the hug so hard because Blanca came to me with that before the hug. Then we did the hug. Then my mom went home. And they said it was Thanksgiving time. And we said my aunties and uncles got together and they said we gonna have Thanksgiving at Donna house. My mama is Donna Plummer. They said we gonna have Thanksgiving dinner at Donna house so she could be with the family. Cause we don't know how long she gonna be here. So we had Thanksgiving at my mama's house. And my mom was laying in the hospital bed. They put the hospital bed in the living room, in the dining room. We had a living room, dining room, kitchen, laundry room, 3 bedrooms. They had her hospital bed was in the dining room. Aunties and uncles and family, I love y'all, but I know my mama. I live with my mama. Y'all probably lived with her a long time, but she probably told me more about her personal feelings than I know my mama. My mama would not have liked to be sitting up in that dining room like that. She would not have liked to be sitting up in that dining room like that. She must, but who knows? I guess they felt like we gotta have, maybe they wanted her with us. You feel me? They probably were like, we want her with us. You feel me? But if they would have kept my mom in the room, I would have kicked it with her the whole time in the room. Watching movies, laughing, hugging, crying and stuff. So, we had a Thanksgiving dinner. All throughout that day, I don't remember if she ate. All throughout that day, she was making a moaning sound. This is how it sounded. If I hear that sound right now, I go back there. I go there. I see it. I'm in that dining room right now. I see the furniture. I see the computer in the corner. You feel me? The threshold where you get into the kitchen. The other threshold where you get to the bathroom. In my room and my brother's room. I see it. Like I'm there. I see it, man. So they call the hospice people, which is the people, the place you go to die. They call the hospice people. And the hospice lady came over to the house. And they called the aunties, the uncles, my granddaddy probably was there. My grandma ain't left the house too much. I don't think my grandma was there. I ain't never seen my grandma outside the house except I saw her at one family reunion. I saw her at the hospital a few times. And then my mama used to take her to grocery stores. Other than that, I ain't never seen my grandma out of the house. I seen her in her rocking chair. You feel me? I had that type of grandma. You cut the TV off when it's thundering outside. You feel what I'm saying? I had that kind of grandma. So, she was cool. So they called us in a room. And they say, I was the only one out of my brothers that went. They was too young. They ain't knew what was going on. My brothers ain't knew. They ain't thinking nothing of it. I ain't thinking nothing else. I know they ain't thinking nothing of it. So, the hospice lady, the white lady, she said, only part I remember that she said was the moaning sound that she's making is her throat beginning to seal. Now that sound and her throat beginning to seal is the first sign that somebody's starting to die. So y'all want to get everybody together, kind of summon the family to see her because she's beginning to die. It's Thanksgiving, November 24th, 2005. So